Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet yet again for another tutorial. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on this gorgeous newborn to 3-month-old beanie. Actually it's rather big, so you can probably get another couple of months, so probably between newborn and a 5 to 6-month-old beanie if you like. Okay, it is a half double crochet stitch. Now what you will need, obviously, your yarn, and I used the Mandala Ombre. How gorgeous it is to work with, I tell you, nice and soft. And yours truly, being pedantic, did cut the colours that I liked. So I started from your dark green and worked right into the light green. I didn't have to cut in between. I just started from the dark and worked into the light green. And I think I used about roughly 30 grams, between 28 and 30 grams, which are, let me have a look at the meterage in yards. Probably looking at between 80 and 100 meters, between 80 and 100 yards, maybe less even. It depends on what you use. Now I did use a 5-point-millimeter hook. You will need your scissors, a darning needle, and you'll also need that stitch marker that occasionally I may have forgotten to put it in. But there you go. So there it is. How gorgeous is this beanie? I tell you, so gorgeous. Anyway, I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to let you get on with making your half double crochet beanie for newborn to 3 months. Good luck, guys. Alrighty guys, we are going to start off with a magic ring or a magic circle or a magic loop, grabbing your tail end, passing it in front, then grabbing your working end, wrapping it around your tail end, forming a little cross there, okay, like so. Pop your hook under your first loop, grab that back loop, pulling it up and through here. Then what you're doing is you're grabbing everything like that. Now don't let go. We're going to do our chain one. Chain one is yarn over your hook, pull a loop through your first stitch. Now this next stitch, don't do it so tight. We're going to chain again, yarn over and pull a loop through. Now we're going to do what we call a half double. Try not to let go of everything like I'm almost doing. That's a yarn over your hook, pop it in your space, yarn over your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Now you can give that center just that little bit of a tug, not too much because we need to fit in another 8 half double crochets. I'm just going to lift this up for a minute because I want to show you where you need to pop a stitch marker. In this round only, normally for half doubles I pop it in that half double, and I'll explain that later to you, but in this round only we're going to pop it in our chain stitches right there, the top of that loose stitch that I said to keep loose. So you're popping it through the 2 loops of that chain right next to the half double stitch. Okay, easy. Grabbing your hook. Now you're going to put another 8 half doubles, so that the chains there will classify as 1 half double, 2 half doubles. Now we're doing our 3rd. Okay, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, 4th, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 3. Let's get a nice close up so you can see those stitches. Okay, we're doing our 5th stitch, yarn over, pop it in the space, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Okay, and 6, 7. You can give that tail a gentle tug occasionally. 8, 9, and 10. Now with that tail there, you're going to just tug it real tight and it'll close up your center. It may open up in the next few rounds, just a very little bit, but we are going to weave that in, I don't know, roughly around 3rd or 4th round. I haven't decided yet. Okay, in the meantime, all you need to do is slip stitch in that tight stitch. Remember I told you not to make it so tight. Pull a loop through and then pull it through the loop on your hook. Okay, I hope that helped. Okay, and then you chain 1 and 2, take out your stitch marker and get ready for round 2. Now in the very same stitch right there, it's very tight now, you're doing a half double crochet And that's when you're putting your stitch marker. Now it's a little different than the way I make my double crochet beanies, but I'll explain that to you later. Now in that very next stitch right there, it's fairly tight, but it is there, you're putting 2 half doubles, 1 and 2, and then 2 into the next, 2, 2 into your next. Easy this part, yeah? 2 into your next, and again the next. It is 2 all the way across. Now if you played your cards right and did your maths right, you should end up with 20 half double crochets at the end of this row. Whoops, did I put 2 in there? No, I only put 1. I'm rushing, chatterboxing. Okay, 2 into the second last, sorry. Before we do, I'm sure there's another one right there, but I'm going to count just in case. 1, 2, 3, I'm sorry, this is what we're counting, these little V's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and the chains are 18. I nearly got confused there. And there's that space right there. We're still putting 2 in there. So it's 1 and 2. And what you're going to do here, you're not slip stitching to those chains like we usually do in double crochet. 4 half doubles to make sure this line doesn't move around a lot. We're going to slip stitch right into the half double. Pull that loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Chain 1 and 2 and popping another half double in the same space there. Take your stitch marker out, popping your stitch marker in your half double stitch that you just made. All right, this next side is 1 half double in the first stitch and then 2 in the next. 1 and 2, 1 in your next stitch, 2 in your next. Whoops. 1 in the next, 2 in the next. Get the picture? 1, 2, 1, 2 all the way across the row. Easy? One and 2 in the next. 1 and 2. 1 and 2 in the next. 1 and 2. And then 1, 2 in there. 1 and 2. And I still have 1 left just before the end. So remember how we slip stitch? We slip stitch into the half double crochet. We're skipping all the chains and we're slip stitching across. So chaining 1 and 2, just remove that stitch marker for one moment. We are putting 1 half double in the same space. Pop that stitch marker back in there, Lexel. And then you're putting 1 half double in your next, 1 in your next, and then 2 in your next. 1 and 2. Oops. And then 1 in the next, 1 in your next, and then 2 in your next. Super easy, yeah? 1 in the next, 1 in the next, and 2 in your next. All right, so continue in that manner all the way along. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, until you get to the last 2 ones, like 1, 1, and I shall meet you up. All right, now you may think that that is not a stitch there, okay? It actually is. So you've got your last one and your last one. Now the reason is because we are slip stitching far over, so it's forming that to look like there's none there, but there definitely is one there. All right, so now you are slip stitching again in your top chain right there, like so. All right, chaining one. Now ordinarily for a very newborn beanie, I would stop there and start to close up. That doesn't look big enough for me because we are using half doubles. Okay, so I'm going to continue. I've chained up 1 and 2. Take that little stitch marker out. In the same space you are placing a half double. Popping your stitch marker in your half double stitch that you just made. All right, and then you are doing 1 in the next, 1 in the next, 2, and 1 in the next, 3. Then you are putting 2 half doubles in the next space. All right, so before you were doing 2 1s and a 2, and now you're doing 3 1s and a 2. 1, 2, and 3. 2 into the next, 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 into your next, 1 and 2. I'm going to leave it there. Get yourself to the end of this row and I shall meet you up. Alright, you must have in this row here 50 half double crochets. If you have one less, that means you're missing that tight stitch there. So I've still got 3 1s to go, 2, and there's that really tight stitch there, 3. All right, now we are going to slip stitch into the top of that half double. Oops, try that way, Mary. There you go. And that's what you should have so far. Now, pattern is about to change, all right? We're about to start closing up, so pop your hook back in. One and 2, and now we're doing a half double in the same stitch, like so. Then you are going to grab your stitch marker, if you can get it, and just pop it through that stitch that we just made. All right. And for the rest of the row, we are putting half doubles in every stitch we see. Super easy. Yeah, super easy. Do that in the round and I shall meet you up at the stitch marker. Alrighty, so here I am at the end of the row and there's a stitch right there, snug in that corner, like so. Now you are slip stitching right over into that slip stitch, into that half double crochet, pulling your loop through, taking out that stitch marker, chaining up your 1, 2, and now we're doing our half double crochet in the same space, like so, grabbing your stitch marker. Alright, so basically that's the round that you just did. That is the round you're going to do over and over again 7 more times. But before we do, we are going to weave in this end right here. Now the reason being is it can get a little tricky later in the work. It kind of gets in the way when we're doing things. Oh, this is not the right needle for this. Oh, it doesn't matter, it worked. Looked like it was about to split. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. Okay, now this is a magic ring or magic loop, magic circle, and as you can see, we pulled it before, but as you can see, it's opened up a little bit. So when people say, oh, I did it, I just cut it and it's come undone in the wash, well, that's why. You really need to give it another tug and then you need to weave it in. Don't think because we crocheted over it that we don't need to weave it in. No, you do. And what you do is you just go into the nook and cranny, the actual stitch part, making sure you can't see it in front, of course. Already I can feel that tightening up, okay? And just go through that section there. And then you go back the other way in a different area, of course. Also making sure you can't see it in front again, because you don't want it to come through, the needle to come through, and then you can see. It doesn't really matter because this particular yarn here, we're very lucky, it's got a lot of dots in it, like a very dotty. So even if you had a little bit of green in front, nobody'd notice, but still you don't want it to look, you want it to look nice, yeah? Bub's got to look nice too. All right, there you go. All right, that's done. Okay, so go ahead now and do all your rows and I shall meet you up. Alrighty, here I am at the end of the 7th row. That's the back part. I haven't put my stitch marker in there, but I'm sure you have, because you're good like that. Some of us aren't that good. I'm very naughty. Alright, so in that very last stitch, I'm popping a half double crochet. Okay, and then we're slip stitching into the half double like normal. Oh, if I can get the slip stitch in, then we can get it to work. And there you go. All right, now we are going to change the pattern. Yay! It's going to be exactly the same with your half doubles, but what we are doing is we're going to be putting half double crochets in the front post for the first stitch, and then half double crochets in the back post for the second stitch. And what are the posts, I hear you ask? Good question. That is these stems you see right here. These are the posts. Okay, these are the stitches up the top, but these stems, I used to call them sticks in the old days, are posts, all right? So you are chaining 1 and 2 like normal. So you are popping a half double crochet around the post. So you're popping your hook through the front, going through the back, around that post, and then popping it through the front again. Then you are pulling a thread through like normal. So you still have your 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. A little tricky, and what you're probably best up doing is, I don't know what I did with that stitch marker, there it is, popping your stitch marker just in that half double right there. Okay, all right. And now you're popping your half double crochet in your back post. Okay, so that would mean going through the back way now. So we're going around the back of that post, popping through the front, and then going back into the back again. All right, and then we pull a thread through, a little bit tricky to stitch, and then you've got 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Now back post for me has always been tricky, but I'm sure you can do it, okay? So now we're going to do the front post again. So we're going through that front way, into the back, back into the front, grab a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. See how it's giving you that ridged effect? Okay, now we're going to do the back again, going through the back, into the front, and back into the back again. Pull that loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And now we're going to go to the front. And again in the back. And so on, whoops, and so on, and so on. Until you get to the end of the row and I shall meet you up. All right, so I've got to the end of the row. Now that is, the last one I did was the front post, but we are forgetting our chains. You can't forget the chains. See, if you notice the next stitch you have is a front post, so you actually have to do a back post around those chains. A little bit awkward, but you can do it a little bit tight, but it can be done. And there's your back post. All right, now all you're doing is slip stitching at the top of that stitch marker. Pop the stitch marker out, pull the loop through and pull it through the loop on your hook, and that is the look you have. Gorgeous. Now what you're going to do is chain 1 and 2. I'm sorry, you're only going to chain 1 because yours truly, I'm kind of not happy with the length of the beanie, okay? But if I do another half double crochet row, that's going to make it too long for baby. So what we're going to do is single crochet in the front post and single crochet in the back post. Now a lot of people don't do this, but I do it. It closes it up and it tightens up your beanie a little bit. So we've got the chain there, that'll classify as our chain stitch. Will be relatively tight on the way back, but that's okay. So you're just popping your single crochet through the front like that. It makes it a lot easier because we've already got the front post sticking out at us. So we know we just go through the back and into the front like that with a single crochet, which is 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so what you've done there, you've done your front post. So what you're going to do, pop in your stitch marker right there. So you'll be slip stitching into that stitch right there on the way back. Okay, and now you're going to do your back post. Oh, it's very awkward, isn't it? Around that stitch right there. And it's more so because we're only doing single crochets around them. Okay, the front post is very easy. You can see the post. In fact, you can actually see that is where you need to go. It's very easy, the front post. But the back post, a little tricky. It's kind of working against the way crocheters work. Working back to front, I suppose you can call it. All right, so continue doing your front post single crochet and your back post single crochet until you get to that stitch marker right there. You should end up with a front post there and you still have that really tight back post in here somewhere. All right, so go ahead and continue that and I'll meet you up. Alrighty, so here I am at the end of the row. I've just completed my single crochet front post. Now there's that tricky, that chain stitch right there. It's real tricky. If you can find a way to get your hook around it, good luck. It's very, very tight, but that's normal because it's a single crochet. And now we have a slip stitch to join right at the top of that stitch marker right there. Let me take that stitch marker out for a moment. Grab your loop, pull a loop through. Guess what, guys? Give your work a cut because you have completed your beanie. Okay, now that's the back. Yes, with the tag, with the little loop there, which we'll fix up in a minute. And that is your front. Grab yourself a button. Okay, all right, firstly, how to determine the front to the back. The back should always be, that line where you are right there, the little end there, should always be in the middle at the back. So all you're doing is flattening it out, turning it around, grabbing your button. Your button can go anywhere. I'm finding that in my case, I tend to put a button literally on the left-hand side of Bub's head. Okay, but it's entirely up to you where you put your button. Grab yourself a little bit of thread, doesn't matter, just a small amount. Give it a cut, like so. Grab your sewing, darning, weaving needle and threading your needle. This is probably the wrong needle for this, but never mind. All right, now you want to have, there's no knots in my thread, okay, but you want to have your thread at the back so that you can tie it up. So all you're going to do is find a little spot where you think might go well with baby. There's your ribbing that we just made. Maybe just above the ribbing. You can keep your button this way or you can keep it that way, whatever. I think the normal way is that way. It doesn't matter really. So all you're doing is grabbing. Now what you're doing is actually, you are not, let me get a nice close up. You're not going through the gaps, okay? You are going through a stitch. Pick any stitch you like, anywhere you like. Pop your needle through, pop your button on. Now I've done that a little low, so I'm going to pop the bottom part of the button there. If I turned it around, that button will be on top of the ribbing. You can have it on the ribbing if you like. I prefer it just above the ribbing effect. It gives it that little extra kick. Now when you're popping your needle through, remember you don't have a knot here, so leave yourself a long enough tail so that you can tie a knot later. Okay, there's my tail. All right, now actual fact, you can pop that through your button first. All right, it gives you a chance to see where you're going to put your needle. Now I said it was too low. I want mine to go a bit higher, so I'm just going to pop it up above that stitch, rubbing your needle through and pulling it and having a look to see how your button sits. This is the opportunity now. If you're not sure you like that look, oops, I don't know what I've done there. That's better. If you're not sure you like that look, then move it. And to be honest with you, I don't like it. I was supposed to leave it long ways and I've done it too long. So I'm going to take it all undone and raise my stitch up a little bit higher. And we'll put it there, in there. Okay, so you can be fussy. There's nothing wrong with being fussy. Nothing at all. You are the maker, so you're the one who can be fussy, all right? Whoops. In there, like so. Back into the other button. And I'm coming down. Oh, that's probably too low. Where is my thing there? There it is. Down there, like so. And there's the button. See, I'm happy now. Okay? But it doesn't matter. You are making it, so it's entirely up to you. Now, before you continue, you're going to turn it over, or inside out, and tie it in a knot first. Okay? Just give it a little knot. And all that's doing is giving it a little bit of, reassurance. There you go. And now you're going to go in and out a few times, once or twice, depending on how thick your buttonhole is. See your buttonholes there? Depending on how thick they are or how much space they have. I have a funny feeling I'm only going to be able to get it through this one more time. And then what I might do is tie it in a knot again. We'll see. Yeah, I won't do any more because that won't go through. So I'm just going to tie it in a knot one more time. Why? Because I'm very pedantic like that. I'm very fussy. You guys know that already. If you're joining us new, firstly, welcome. I'm fussy. All right. So much so that we are also going to weave that end, even though we've knotted it twice, we're going to weave it in a couple of times. If mum or dad or a carer would like to remove that button, they would have to really cut into it. Sorry, but yours truly does prefer to be a little bit more pedantic than not. Cut that one, and when you get an opportunity, weave in that one there, exactly the way you saw me weave in this one. All right, and there you go, and there is your beanie. Oh, tell you what we're going to do, we're going to weave in that last thread that we did. Okay, and here we go. Pop that in. Get a nice close up. All right, that's the right side. We want that thread to go on the inside. So all you need to do is find a stitch that you can go down into, right down into it there, and pull it down nice and tight. And it's gone. All right. Now, in the meantime, you're not finished. You have to weave it in, guys. Sorry, I hate to burst your bubble. But yeah, you have to weave it in and out of some threads. Oops, forgot to tell you, make sure you can't see it at the back, and you really can't. It's really quite thick, this particular yarn, so you pull it through some part of it, and there it is. No needle at the back, nope. Nice and tight that is, that area. Nice and tight, which means that's not going to come undone. Back through one last time. Oh, very tight. And guess what, guys? You're done. Your beanie is done. Let's just shove that in there. Don't forget to weave that last end in. And there you go. Ta-da! Would you like to see it on Baby? Well, I don't have a baby with me, but I do have Marge. If you're not sure who Marge is, that's Marge. Now, Marge has been with us for quite some time now. I'm about to show you in a minute. Marge has been with us quite some time. I don't know if you can see it. Ta-da! Oh, whoops! I dropped a beanie. There it is. Oh, it's really hard. Let me take this off the stand. Ta-da! And there is Marge. She looks gorgeous with her new beanie. You know what? That button's really high. I might just drop it again later. After all that, I did have it in the right spot, didn't I? Oh, look at that. That's how she looks when she's sitting. Let's drop her down. There she's sitting right there. I don't know if I can get it. Ta-da! There we go. Now we got it. Well, it's not even on properly, the beanie. That's better. Ta-da! I think I might have to move that button. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. My name is Mary. This is Wild Crochet. Don't forget to weave in your last end. And don't forget to like, subscribe and share and do all those wonderful things you do for me. And all I want to say right now, guys, is ciao for now. Bye.